What's happened is when you look at if you take the U.S. Gulf and you have grain shipments that would typically go through the Panama Canal going to Asia. So most of that is not happening anymore. And then there was the diversion, through Suez. And then obviously we know what's happened in the Red Sea area. So it's been this double whammy where you're adding 20 days probably onto the route going from the U.S. out to China or Japan. So you have increased fuel costs, but we're able to push those through to our customers, to the end user. And it takes ships out of the market for longer periods of time, and it actually pushes freight rates up. It is inflationary, but it's from a freight rate standpoint, it's very positive for us.
Yeah, you spoke about your iron ore shipping as well. Then prices have come down quite dramatically this year for iron ore. Does that create a potential boost in business at a later stage for yourselves? I mean, at a cheaper price, perhaps get demand a little bit higher, and that ultimately helping your shipping?
It's a great question. So what has actually caused this is you have a slower period for construction in China. Again, that's a seasonable attribute that exists. And iron ore inventories have risen. So that has actually pushed the price of iron ore down because there's still a lot of iron ore coming from Brazil. Yeah. And yes, so later in the year, it allows steel margins in China in particular to open up because of that lower cost of the product going in.
You still have the grain situation as well at play for yourselves in all of this, right? I mean, February, the strongest month of Ukraine grain exports since the start of the war. How is this the case despite not having the Black Sea grain deal actually at play?
Well, so again, few things going on. You have a real good crop of soybean in Brazil. You have a very good crop of corn coming out of Argentina. There's another 20 million tons this year versus last year that's going to be shipped. And then you have the Black Sea area. What's happened in the Black Sea, it's still not perfect, and most of the products are being carried on smaller ships that are hugging the coast rather than going down through the middle of the Black Sea. But the Ukrainians have been successful in their drone attacks on the
military escorts on that one. When you're hugging the coast, that
not
way,
so much military escorts, but you stay close to the coast, so you're not out in the middle of the Black Sea and don't need the protection that you would have before. And the Ukrainians have done a lot with drone attacks and missiles in calming things down.
Let me pick up on the geopolitics from another angle while we look out on the horizon. Tariffs and the potential for resumption of those tariffs. The Trump administration previously rolled out a whole heap of different rules around steel and aluminium, for instance. If there's another Trump administration, we could potentially be looking at that again from some of the comments Trump's made already around more tariffs. What would that do to the industry in terms of disruption?
For us, I don't see it doing very much. I know there's this thought that the U.S. imports a lot of Chinese steel. It's just not the case. It's actually very small numbers. Most of the Chinese exports are going to the Middle East, and they're going to other Asian countries. That's where you see the real volumes that have been coming